You know, this is like the mother, right, of the zodiac. They're nurturing sign, the most nurturing sign. So when you think of your mother, like genuinely, most mothers are clingy. They want to make sure you're okay. They want to make sure that you didn't forget about them. They want to provide you with everything you need so you never have to leave the house. It's giving Cancer. What's good, you guys? It's your girl Sarah. How you doing? Today we are back with a zodiac list, y'all's favorite. I give the people what they want, you know? I try to give the people what they want. Today we're talking about relationships and the struggles that each zodiac sign has in relationships. The list is from your Tango. I'm gonna post in a bit where the list comes from and I'll be reacting to it. So if this is your first time here, I'll be talking about all 12 of the signs. We're gonna go through the list. I'm gonna tell you if I agree, if I disagree, and then obviously I want you guys to tell me in the comments if you agree or disagree, because I just love knowing that shit, okay? So let's get into it. Okay, first up we have Aries. What you struggle with the most in relationships is rushing into relationships. Actually, yeah, I could see why this would be a point of struggle for you, Aries, because I think Aries people are very open and accepting and excited about life. I feel like you guys in general meet a lot of people quickly too, you know? You're the types of people that can talk to anyone and you put yourself out there often. I would say Aries is a cardinal fire sign, so you guys have that confidence and you lead with that confidence, so you don't struggle forming new relationships, meeting new people. You're pretty confident, actually. That's why you put yourself out there. But the thing is also with that confidence, it kind of makes you trusting of a lot of people too. I think Aries placements in general, they enjoy anything that's new, right? Like, again, they're the first sign of the zodiac. They're like that baby. They're really excitable. And you guys are just known to be impulsive, right? So the questions that a lot of people ask themselves before they proceed in relationships, Aries is typically not asking themselves that often or as much as other people, as much as like, let's say a Virgo or a Capricorn or a Scorpio. Aries knows what they want and they go after it. They don't really like to take the back seat and try and figure out like if this is the right person for me. Are we gonna make sense? Is this going to work? Like all those questions coming into play, it turns Aries off. Like it takes the excitement out of meeting someone away. So they'd much rather just follow their heart and get to know people quickly and, you know, get into relationships quickly, because that is just their natural way of doing things. But I could see why this would be, like I said, a point of struggle for you, because if you were to think about whether this person is right for you, whether you guys are a match, whether you actually like them before proceeding to be with them, it might save you a lot of heartbreak, Aries. Because again, you're taking your time trying to understand if this is someone you want in your life, if this is someone that's gonna make you happy. A lot of times that is doing too much for you. You, like I said, want to feel that excitement of just following your heart and just going with it. So I could see why you have a problem with this, but I don't see you changing your ways. I really don't. Aries isn't gonna all of a sudden be less impulsive. You know, that's just the way y'all lead your life. And you know, if that's what makes you happy, do you. Okay, next we have Taurus, and for you it's stubbornness. Am I the only one that's like, I'm like over it. Taurus is stubborn. Taurus loves to eat. You know, like I just wish we would be a little bit more creative. But I also understand why, because it really is one of your biggest, I would say, negative qualities, Taurus, is your stubbornness. I feel like your stubbornness actually is a struggle when it comes to every aspect of your life, not just your relationships. Like Taurus in general, you know, can be very closed-minded when it comes to how they live their life. And it's not just in relationships, it's the way they are in every aspect of their life. But I feel like in relationships is when it can harm you the most, because someone will be perfect for you and they can make you happy, but because of your stubborn nature, you might push them away, or they might actually get sick of your shit because you do not compromise at all. And let's be honest, A big part of any relationship is compromise and going 50-50 or going 80-20 and then, you know, swapping a different day. Like, it's really all about understanding what your partner wants and them understanding what you want, and knowing that sometimes, you know, you guys aren't going to agree, but you respect each other enough to allow the other to take charge once in a while, right? And I feel like Taurus, especially low vibrational Taurus energy, they don't trust other people's opinions or ways of doing things. And that ultimately makes your partner, you know, look at you like you're their mom or their dad, you know, because you're just like sitting there and being like, no, that's wrong. No, you can't do it like that. Like, what are you doing there? You know what I mean? Like, it's very like nitpicky, kind of like Virgo in that sense. And that may really be the reason why a lot of your, you know, relationships end, because they feel like they're not being heard. And I don't know how you Taurians feel, but I would be pretty sad if I felt like my partner feels like I don't hear them. You know what I mean? Just because of my stubborn nature, you know? A lot of times I think if you guys were to just trust your partner, they might actually enlighten you in ways that you never were before. I'm not saying change your whole personality, but I'm saying be open to new ways of thinking and doing things, you know? Okay, next we have Gemini, and for you, it's a lack of intimacy. Ooh, they called y'all out. They called y'all out. They called us out. I mean, I'm a Gemini moon, so thank God for my Scorpio placements. I feel like in general, this is something that Geminis struggle with, obviously in relationships, because they like to keep things light. You know what I mean? Like, Gemini wants to enjoy life. They want to focus on what makes them feel good, right? And a lot of times feelings make Gemini feel uncomfortable, you know? A lot of times I feel like when you're feeling things, you need to have this confidence to share that with your partner, right? In a relationship, you need to be able to feel safe enough to share these things with your partner. And I feel like a lot of Geminis are scared of getting deep like that, because to be honest, a lot of Geminis, even when they're alone, they're rationalizing their feelings and not really feeling their feelings, right? So if they're not even doing that when they're alone, they definitely can't do that in a relationship. And again, with all of these, with every single one of these signs, what you struggle with, it is not like a death sentence. You know what I mean? You have the ability to change your ways, or, you know what I mean? Be a little bit more open-minded when it comes to all the things that you struggle with, and like change your ways of doing things, right? And for Gemini, you can definitely be intimate and you can have moments of intimacy. It's just that you're at your natural state, you want to keep things light, you know? And like I said, you feel uncomfortable sharing and talking about your feelings or feeling your feelings even, you know? But I think something that Gemini needs to get comfortable doing is just talk it out. Talk your feelings out. Like, it's not cringe and it's not weird. Like, you're not putting a damper in the mood. Like, if it's your partner, you should be able to talk to them about things that are not lighthearted and things that are not always positive, like negative feelings, negative things that you're experiencing. You should be able to talk to your partner about those things, Gemini. That doesn't make you a wet blanket. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that you're not fun anymore. Like, you get to be multifaceted. You get to have different aspects of your personality. You could still be your jokester, fun self, but still express your raw emotions without feeling like it makes you unlovable, or, you know what I mean? Like you're being a simp or whatever. I think a lot of times people actually are waiting for you, Gemini, to speak your mind when it comes to your feelings, you know? But like I said, it's like one of my favorite quotes ever is, people can only meet you as deeply as they have met themselves. And I think for Geminis, if Gemini isn't, you know, honest with themselves about how they feel, they're definitely not doing that in a relationship, you know? They're definitely keeping things lighthearted as much as possible, because that's what makes them feel safe. And you know, I think Geminis in general, they have a hard time opening up when it comes to their feelings, because again, they're scared of people walking away. They have this flighty nature where they're the ones that get to walk away, and they're the ones that don't need to form these attachments. Because they don't do it often, it's almost like you've waited so long to do it that now it's going to be even harder for you to do it. It's going to be harder for you to open up to someone. You know, if you waited a long time and you've never done it, of course it's going to be a high pressure thing. But then you look at like people like Cancers, you know what I mean? Or Pisces or whatever, signs that are open with their feelings and share their feelings, and you know what I mean? They don't feel the need to hide their feelings in any relationships. And that's why they're so open in any relationships that come. Granted, they can get hurt easily because of, you know, their ability to just put it all out on the table and share their feelings, but because they're so comfortable doing that and because they've done that in most of their relationships, they're not scared to do it in future relationships because they know that that's just a natural aspect of life, sharing your feelings. And your feelings may not always be respected, and maybe sometimes you share your feelings with people that didn't deserve it, but at the end of the day, that's your business. If you want to share your feelings, you should be able to share your feelings. You can't control how other people react to it. And Gemini, if you share your feelings and you get deep and people choose to walk away from you, or you know what I mean, they think that you're not fun anymore, that's not your person to begin with. Okay, next we have Cancer, and for you, what you struggle with the most is clinginess, Cancer. Yeah, we're not surprised. Like, Cancers are known to be like stage 5 clingers. You know, this is like the mother, right, of the zodiac. They're nurturing sign, the most nurturing sign. So when you think of your mother, like genuinely, most mothers are clingy. They want to make sure you're okay. They want to make sure that you didn't forget about them. They want to provide you with everything you need so you never have to leave the house. It's giving Cancer, you know? But the thing is, Cancer, it can be a lot. It can be a lot, and I don't know, maybe if you're with another Cancer, they'll get it, you know? But for most people, they need a little bit of freedom in a relationship, you know? And that doesn't mean that they don't like you. And I think Cancers in general can sometimes take it very, very personally when other people don't want to attach themselves to you, you know? 24/7. Clearly they want to attach themselves to you if they're in a relationship with you. But if they don't want to be, you know, butt buddies 24/7 stuck to each other like white on rice, Cancer takes that personally. Like, oh, so you don't like me. So you don't like me because I want to live inside your skin. You know, I want to live inside your body. Cancer says that. And other people may look at that and be like, okay, that's a little intense. You know, that's a little too much. And even if it is someone that likes that part of you, that someone still needs some time to do their own thing. You know what I mean? Like, your identities do not have to become one in a relationship. You can very much still have separate identities, and then you have this identity, or you have this relationship, you know what I mean, that brings your two identities together. And I think Cancers in general, because they're also the crab, they can just hold on to people, right? They can just hold on to people because they're also scared of being let go. They're scared of the person leaving, you know? To them, their person, their partner is the ultimate anchor in life. It's what makes them feel safe. You know, Cancer can very much have these ideas of like, okay, I have to get my boyfriend, we have to get married, okay, gotta get the house, and then we have to have kids, you know what I mean? Gotta put the kids through college. Like, they have very much, most of them, like a planned way of like how they can create this home, this sense of home. So you being their partner is kind of that first step of making that dream life happen. And once they catch you, it's really hard for them to let you go. And they're scared. They're scared of you leaving because to them, you know, they just won the lotto. Like, life's starting. They found their partner. But on the other side of it, Cancer, it can come off a little too intense. You know, you also need to remember that if someone really fucks with you, you do not need to hold on for dear life to know that they, you know, fuck with you back. You do not have to hold on to them because you feel like if you don't, they'll walk away. Like, at the end of the day, like, if they're gonna walk away, they're gonna walk away, no matter how clingy you are or not. You should just trust that they really like you, and even when they're not in your presence, they're still thinking about you. I would hope that most people have that in relationships. Like, you can be away from each other but still have each other on your mind. Like, that to me is a testament of a healthy relationship. I personally think it's important for, you know, couples to go on trips separately, for friends to go on trips together. Like, that doesn't mean that, or like, oh my God, you hear about these freaking stories where like a girl will want to go to brunch with her friends. A girl's brunch. And one of the girls is like, can I bring my man? Like, girl, can you be away from him for 5 minutes? Like, you're scaring me. You're scaring me right now. You know what I mean? That to me gives a little Cancer energy. I'm sorry, it does. Okay, next we have Leo. And for you, it's hot and cold behavior. Ooh, I could honestly see that for Leo. Because when I think of Leo in relationships, they need validation. They need validation more than any other sign. They just want that verbal validation. They want their partner to obviously be obsessed with them and be their #1 fan. Again, I would hope everyone wants that. But again, the Leo archetype wants that more than anything. And I feel like if they don't receive that validation consistently, they will put all their natural Leo warmth away and hope that you noticed. You see what I mean here? It's kind of like a little game that they play. It's their dramatic ways. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna dramatically ice you out to see how you act. And then once they're in it again, you're gonna feel the weight and the intensity of their warmth, you know, because Leos naturally, when they love you, when they're in relationships, you know, when you have them as a friend, you feel their warmth. They're obsessed with you. They want to see you win. You know, they're putting you on a pedestal. And I feel like if they're, you know, fighting with you, or if you did something to bother them, it's really easy for them to ice you out, kind of very similar to their sister sign Aquarius, right? They have that similarity, is that like you feel very much like in the circle when Leo's happy with you, but when Leo's not happy with you, ooh, they're icing you out. And like I said, I think it has to do with their dramatic nature. When they're not happy with you, they're not happy with you, and they want everyone to know why you've been fucking up. I could see Leo placements actually being the ones that like create, like you've seen on TikTok, where like someone will create a PowerPoint for girls' night and they're like showing like the text messages, what exactly he did, like how dare he, like they have it all planned out. And then you're texting them tomorrow, or you see their story and they're with him again. It's like, I thought you hated the man. You know what I mean? But it's because they're naturally such dramatic people that you really will always know where they stand depending on how warm and cold they're making you feel. They're not ones to fake it at all. They genuinely can't fake it at all. So you'll know where you stand with them depending on where they are in that scale. But I could see why this would be a struggle in your relationships, because people will want you to just tell them, you know, when you're not happy with them. They feel it via your energy before you tell them about it. And that could be something that really makes your partner feel unsafe in the relationship, you know, emotionally unsafe. Okay, next we have Virgo, and for you, it's nitpicking. Yeah, I mean, the perfectionist kings and queens of the Zodiac. You know, Virgos are very nitpicky when it comes to themselves, right? They have high expectations for themselves, so they very much lead with that energy when it comes to their relationships. And I always joke about how Leo's not looking for a partner, they're looking for a project. And honestly, I feel like when you guys are in your like toxic era, it's almost like you pick people that are like bigger projects. You know what I mean? Like to you, because then it allows you to really step into your power of being a true nitpicker, right? If someone's like damn near perfect, what are you gonna fix? You know? So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like that is what y'all do. You're like, this person only has A and B wrong with them. This person has A, B, C, D, E, F, G wrong with them. And listen, although A and B is like great, but I could really show them what I'm made of with, you know, the second person with A, B, C, D, E, F, G wrong with them. Because then I could really show them all the ways that I can improve their life, and I will become someone that is irreplaceable to them. You see how that works? That's like very toxic in a way, because you're almost thinking that if you're not fixing them, you're not valuable to them, you know? And like, I don't think that's the way you should be picking people. Like, why not go for someone that is amazing, you know? Like, and they will still want you. If they're your person, they will still want you, even if you're not literally like, you know what I mean? Like fixing them up. Because to me, you're just downplaying, you know, your value in a relationship. Your value doesn't just come from your ability to fix people, you know? Your value comes from you, who you are, how you show up. But I think a lot of times also it can be an ego thing where you almost want people that have a lot of shit wrong with them, a lot of projects, because it makes you feel like you're better than them. And that's not right either. And that's not healthy either. But y'all do that. Y'all do that. And listen, my Chiron is in Virgo, so I get it. I get it. Find an actual project, not a person. You know what I mean? Okay, next we have Libra, and for you, it's poor boundaries. Yeah, listen, Libra, you be bending over backwards. You be bending it like Beckham. You guys remember that movie? Like, for real, you really do everything you can to make your partner happy, and you could be doing 100% of the work while they're giving 0, and you're like, but I love him, but I love her. You know what I mean? They deserve it. Like, I want to make this work. They're the love of my life. The love of your life wouldn't just sit back while you're doing everything. You know what I mean? I think Libras, they have those rose-colored glasses on. And they have this idea of the person that they're with, and they're like, because I have this idea and because of their potential, I'm willing to do 80, 90, 100% of the work in the relationship because I just love them so much. You guys are like blind to how people can take advantage of you, you know? And I hate to say it, a good heart, having just a good heart doesn't get you that far in life. I'm sorry, it doesn't. You also need boundaries. You know what I mean? Like, you need to be able to protect your good heart. Otherwise, people are just always going to take advantage of you. And otherwise, people are going to see how easy it is for them to sit back while you do all the work. And I think Libras in general are naturally very charismatic people, and can also make a lot of shit happen. I've noticed that being with a Libra comes with a lot of perks because you guys know a lot of people. Like I said, you guys are charismatic, so you can make things happen for your partner. And I think people can clock that. They can see that. And if you're not careful, they will take advantage of it and they'll just be with you because of everything you can do for them, you know? And that to me is really, really sad. I think a lot of people get with Libras for the wrong reasons. Also, another issue for you guys is the fact that you guys hate conflict, right? You guys hate conflict so much and you want to keep and maintain the peace so badly. And because of that also, you have poor boundaries because now people know that you don't like to fight and you don't like to disagree. So they're leading the way 100% of the time. And again, you're unhappy and you're so scared of people not liking you or your partner being mad at you. And now you just keep your mouth shut because you found that it's easier to just be quiet because then you don't have to argue about whatever it is that's bothering you. So you just need to get better with conflict resolution. You need to get better at speaking your mind because otherwise people are just always going to do what they want to do around you because they know that you don't stand up for yourself. And like, I hate that for you. Okay, next we have Scorpio, my sign. What we struggle with in relationships is intensity. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that because, you know, we like to take things a little too far sometimes, and I understand why that might be intense for a lot of people. We very much think, for the most part, black and white. There is no gray area when it comes to Scorpio, and we're very passionate. It's a fine line between love and hate, and I think for Scorpios, we tend to make very, like, big statements. And I don't know about you Scorpios, but that's gotten me in a lot of trouble in relationships is I just like say shit and you know, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. And because we're so intense and you know, we can be very much aggressive in the way that we say things, that can put a lot of pressure in relationships, you know? And the thing is, Scorpios can be very explosive, you know? Scorpio energy can be very explosive when it comes to fighting, when it comes to arguing, whatever. And like I said, it's very hard to take big statements back. It's really hard to, you know, eat your words after you said something crazy. And I think a lot of Scorpios, you know, deal with that in relationships. And that's why it takes us a while to open up to people. Because if you're a self-aware Scorpio, you already know how you come off. You already know the dramatics that are at play. You already know that you're Martian and that you're aggressive, you know, big heart. Okay. We got big heart energy, but also with that big heart comes a big attitude. And that big attitude leads to a lot of intense fights. So I think as Scorpios, you need to take your time when replying. You know what I mean? When it comes to a fight with your partner, when it comes to, you know, even just like a conversation where you feel like you need them to agree with you, you know, kind of like our sister sign, Taurus, where it's like you feel very passionate about this and you can come off so intense and be like, no, this is how it needs to be. But at the end of the day, they're also a person. You know, they can have opinions too, but that intensity can sometimes push people away because they feel like you do not even see them and that you do not even hear them when they're talking to you. And also, I feel like with that intensity, another aspect of that intensity is like possessiveness, right? Like Scorpios are known to be like jealous and possessive. And that can really, really fuck with you in relationships. Because again, it comes back to trust. Like if you are jealous or super possessive, you're insinuating that you don't trust your partner. And that can make your partner feel like you don't really believe them and that there's no trust in the relationship. So of course they're gonna look at you funny if you're constantly texting them about this and that, or like, you know what I mean? You're just like not trusting them. You're always assuming that they're doing some shady shit. Granted, there's a lot of people out here doing shady shit. But Scorpio, if you are carrying the trauma of your past into new relationships that have the potential to be healthy, your intensity and your need to start an argument just to prove that they're gonna fuck you over, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're gonna push them away all because your past trauma has led you to be distrusting. Okay, next we have Sagittarius, and what you struggle with the most in relationships is aloofness. Yeah. You know, the thing is, it's like a lot of people, like it's the opposite, you know, for Scorpio, it's like, you're being too intense, like stop worrying so much, you know, trust them. And then you have, you know, the opposite end of Sagittarius, where it's like, can you care a little? Like, do you even care that we haven't spoken in 3 days? You know what I mean? Sagittarius probably doesn't care. Because to them, they're like, this is normal, like, you know, we should have the freedom to be who we want to be. Like Sagittarius, yes, I wholeheartedly agree with you, but also your partner kind of has to know that you care a little bit. Like you care that they're alive, like that they live, you know what I mean, the next day. You haven't spoken to them in a whole like 2 days. Like you should want to know if they're alive or not. You should want to check in on them. But Sagittarius in general is having so much fun and is living such a grand life that they don't really feel the need to check in all the time, and that can really hurt your partner. Again, a lot of times it's really good to just date people that are compatible with you, not just astrologically, but you know what I mean, just the way that they view relationships, you know? Like if you're a Sag and you don't feel the need to be texting all the time, but you're with someone that wants to check in with their partner every hour or so, yeah, you probably shouldn't be together. But in general, I feel like Sagittariuses that maybe are low vibrational, even if their partner is doing like a normal amount of like checking in, Sagittarius will find that to be too much and they'll feel like they're drowning, you know, in the relationship. It's all about just being honest at the beginning of the relationship. Like, what are the expectations here? Like, how often do you usually text your partner throughout the workday or whatever? You know, you need to be honest about that. But I do feel like Sagittarius, you know, it's really easy for them to bounce back, which is why they can be so aloof also, because they are such positive people and they always believe that they can get someone better. Like if this doesn't work out, I don't care. But like no one in a relationship wants to hear that. You know what I mean? Like granted, like I love that confidence, but your partner, they wouldn't want to know that. They wouldn't want to know that you're like, you know what, if this doesn't work, I'm good. Like, who the fuck wants to hear that? Like, that shit would hurt me. That shit would break my heart. Like, what you mean you're good? I need you to be depressed. I need you to care, you know? Sag in general, you know, obviously they care. When they're with people that they generally want to be with, they care. But I'm saying a lot of times, you know, maybe when they're younger, when they're low vibrational, they have this aloof energy that really makes their partner feel insecure because they're like, do you even care about this? Do you take this seriously? Again, Sagittarius. It's so funny because they're like the, you know, philosophists, but also they can be like the biggest clowns, right? Like they're just like, who cares? Who gives a fuck? So it's about that balance and also finding someone that, you know, values that balance that you have between being, you know, that serious philosophical sign, but also being like that clown that just doesn't take shit that seriously, you know? Okay, next is Capricorn, and what you struggle with the most in relationships is coldness. Yeah, honestly, I could see that. Again, it's kind of like that Taurus where it's like coldness. Like it's just like, I get it though. I think maybe because I do a lot of these lists, like there's a lot of like repetitive shit. So sometimes I'm just like, but like it's okay. We'll make it work. And I do feel like it is something that Capricorn struggles with because very much like Scorpio, Capricorn can be distrusting in a lot of relationships. And it's their way of also protecting themselves, you know? Capricorn is the sister sign of Cancer, so they also very much do take partnerships seriously. Like, they're just not ones to be casually dating all the time. But I will say, when they do really like people and they end up being with them, if they haven't worked on themselves and their ability to be more intimate, emotionally intimate, they will have this cold energy. And again, it's their way of protecting themselves. Is like, okay, well, yeah, clearly I like you, which is why I'm with you. Like, isn't that good enough? Because I don't even date that often. Like, that's what Capricorn's thinking. And, you know, if their partner is someone that really needs that, you know, emotional intimacy, or is someone that opens up easily, right? Like, if Capricorn is with someone that opens up easily, is sharing all their lore and their trauma, you know, Capricorn is really good at being there for you and like hearing you and creating that space for you. But then you're like, okay, Capricorn, it's your turn. Capricorn's like, actually, I'm perfect and nothing bad has ever happened to me, so we can move on. You know, and then your partner is going to be like, well, that made me feel really, really stupid, you know, because I just shared my whole trauma with you, my whole story, and you're telling me that you can't open up. And Capricorn's like, that is exactly what I'm telling you. So can we move on and go to dinner now? You know? So it could really be a point of struggle for Capricorn's relationships if your partner feels like, you know, this isn't even. Like, it doesn't feel like we're opening up equally. And at some point, your partner is going to feel like they're putting more into the relationship than you are. Maybe, you know, you're putting in more in other ways, like financially or whatever, you know what I mean? But if your partner is someone that wants emotional intimacy, and let me just be honest, I feel like you should work on being more emotionally intimate. You should work on being a little bit more open, because although, yes, I'm a Capricorn rising, I get it. It's the safest option to be cold and closed off, because then you don't give people a chance to even hurt you. But when you open up to the right people, when you crack that ice heart open, a lot of people will actually surprise you, and you never know who you're gonna connect with, and you never know who is gonna help you heal, you know? When we take a chance and we allow ourselves to open up and share, you know, things from our past or whatever, people will feel like now they can open up too. Like, you can really, really deepen your bond in any relationship when you take a chance and you open up. Granted, it can also be the other way, where you open up and they did not create a safe space for you, or they break your heart. But that is the risk that comes with love. You know what I mean? Like, low risk, low reward, you know? So if you want someone that is really going to rock your world, and if you want a relationship where you feel like, you know, you're connected, you know, on a soul level, you need to be comfortable with sharing parts of yourself that are sensitive. It's cool. I hope you guys are enjoying this long ass video. Like, truly, sometimes I just look at the camera and I'm like, I am just yapping, but I hope you guys like it. Okay, next we have Aquarius. What you struggle with the most is emotional detachment. You know, it's funny because I'm like, is this something you struggle with? Because I feel like you're fine. Like, you're cool if you're emotionally detaching. Yeah, but I mean, it makes sense in relationships. So yeah, your partner's probably going to bring that up. Again, it's very similar. It's like, it's funny. You look at these winter signs, Sagittarius and Capricorn and Aquarius, and they can all be cold in their own way when it comes to relationships, you know, especially if they are very distrusting of the world around them or of people and relationships. They can be very cold. But yeah, Aquarius, emotional detachment can really be something that you struggle with in relationships, because people will feel like they don't know where they stand with you, you know? As a Scorpio, let me tell you this. You know how someone feels about you depending on the emotional reactions that they have to things that happen in the relationship, things that happen to you, fights that you have, right? Like, if you are arguing with someone, and let's say an Aquarius, and they are completely emotionally detached, and they just stone cold face, and you're just like, but, and you made me feel this way, and I just feel like we're not the same anymore, you know, blah, 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 blah. And Aquarius is just emotionally detached. Even if you know. Internally, Aquarius is feeling a lot of things. And I'm saying even if they usually are, you know what I mean? Aquariuses don't lack emotions. They have it. It just takes them a while to process these things, right? They're slower to process and they're usually doing it internally. But again, externally to your partner, they're gonna look at you and be like, so you don't care, you know? Because I am, you know, going crazy, like telling you how I feel, how this made me feel, and you're just kind of like silent there. And to your partner, they will feel like you don't care, and that can be something that they struggle with in the relationship, because more than anything, they want to go back and forth. You know, you feel better after a fight, right? In a relationship, when you guys go back and forth and you share how you felt, why you did what you did, and then you come to a resolution after a lot of big feelings were expressed together, right? But you almost don't have a chance to do that if only one of you is doing it. And maybe for a while, the other person, Aquarius, will feel like this is normal. After a while, they might realize like, oh, like it's usually just me sharing my emotions. Like you rarely share your emotions, and it can be hurtful for your partner because they'll feel like it's one-sided. And I think a lot of Aquariuses actually have a lot of thoughts and feelings internally. It just is harder. It's harder for you guys to express them. And I think because of that, your partner will feel like you care less and that you don't like them as much as they like you. And that will create struggle in your relationship. Okay, last but not least, we have Pisces. And what you struggle with the most in relationships is idealism. And I was thinking about that, and it is true. A synonym for idealism is romanticism. And, you know, romanticism, a lot of people might think is, what do you mean? Like, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It is. You know, I'm all about people romanticizing their life, you know, but in relationships, it can be a pain point for Pisces and their partner. Because I feel like a lot of times Pisces energy has big ideas. Executing them is where they have the most trouble, right? Executing these ideas is where they have the most trouble. And this can lead to a lot of unkept promises that, you know, sound grand when spoken. Like, again, Pisces is like, oh, like, let's do this. This is what we're gonna do. And a lot of times I feel like the action part is where you guys lack. Because you guys can sometimes live in this fantasy world, this ideal world of like how things could be. And it's really easy for you guys to, you know, verbalize these things that you want to do and how, you know, you want this relationship to be. And this is what we're going to do. And sometimes, like I said, you guys lack the execution. And I think a lot of people fall in love with Pisces' words, and a lot of low vibrational Pisces can, again, make a lot of promises that they don't keep. Because, you know, words are amazing, but actions really are what matter. A lot of people in relationships, not just about Pisces energy, you hear, look at their actions. You know what I mean? Do their actions match their words? And it's not something I feel like that they always do on purpose. I think Pisces energy is also doing that to themselves, you know? Pisces has this overactive imagination and, you know, their subconscious and their dreams and all that stuff, all that jazz, all that Neptunian energy, right? Like they have a lot of, you know, ideas of how they want to live their life and how it should be like this and we're gonna do this. But sometimes they get overwhelmed by how many ideas they have and how they can go about actually doing it, that they completely shut off. Like I've noticed that with Pisces is like they get really, really excited. This is what we're gonna do. That Jupiterian energy also makes them think too big. So then I feel like Pisces retreats and they don't do any of it. And that sucks for you on an individual level because you're not keeping promises to yourself. And then that definitely sucks in a relationship because, you know, in a healthy relationship, when your partner says something, you expect them to do it, right? This is where you are gaining trust in each other, is when someone says something, even in friendship, they're gonna do it. But I think Pisces in general can retreat and they can just walk away and they can just pretend la-di-da-di-da that this didn't happen. And while that works for you, your partner will look at you funny, Pisces, because they're like, what do you mean you just make promises and you just don't do it because you're overwhelmed? Then why did you make the promise to begin with, you know? So that's how I feel about Pisces. Y'all let me know how you feel. All right, you guys, that brings us to the end of this episode. I feel like this was a really good topic for also Libra season. Libra is the sign that is associated with love and relationships. So If you struggle with any of these, let me know. Did it hit for your Venus sign most or for your moon sign? I would love to know. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not already. Don't forget to leave a comment about any of these signs, any of the things I talked about. I love to hear what you guys have to say. I'm gonna link the socials over here. Follow me on any of them if you want to, and if your heart pleases. I love you so much, and I'll see you on Thursday for the podcast. Bye.